about punk rock, well, it's been a big influence in my life. I think it's largely misunderstood. It was commodified and assimilated into mainstream culture, and then cannibalized therein afterward. So, punk rock originally was just basically a big fuck you to everything, and that was like the beauty of the spirit. Musically, I never resonated with it personally all that much. I did listen to a lot of punk, more than most people would, I guess, and but there was kind of an aggression and a simplicity about it, you know, simple-mindedness that I never really resonated with. It was fuck you for the sake of fuck you and not for any transcendent purpose. But the spirit of punk, as it was intended, the zeitgeist of punk was that spirit of transcending the bullshit reality, you know. They transcended their poverty by wearing rags, you know. It wasn't a fashion statement when they did it. It was anti-fashion, and it's of course become fashionable, which is just insane. Which is what happens in any art. The authentic human experience is expressed through the art, through the artist draws its inspiration from the hardship and suffering of being poor, basically, and having real working problems, real working people problems. So it becomes authentic, and people resonate with that authenticity, and then it becomes popularized, and then the corporations see that and, you know, commodify it and parcel it out and start producing imitation art. You know, the furniture store, the equivalent of a furniture store, you know, landscape painting versus a Picasso, right? And they pump that shit out to the masses in massive quantities, and then the artist has to do something else to rebel against that, or to speak against it, or to transcend it. The act of rebellion is actually pretty fucking immature, you know. But transcendence is really where the power lies in any kind of movement, artistic or otherwise, is if it actually you know, takes into account the pairs of opposites that this reality is, instead of trying to pick one side versus the other blindly. Yeah, I mean, especially in this culture, it seems like everything's so fucking aggressive socially, that when people listen to music now, they have a totally different motivation than they used to. They used to get fired up by music, you know, when rock in the 60s and 70s, you know, that's what caught fire. It was just that kind of energy. And now everybody wants it kind of as background. Like, they want something soothing that's easy to listen to. They don't have to think. They don't have to emotionally regulate levels of excitement or any stress or anything like that. It's become more of an opiate, you know, effect on most people, is what they're looking for when they listen to music. It's become I don't know. It used to have power and excitement and energy and angst and all the human things, and now it's just kind of lukewarm milquetoast, vanilla, jazz fusion, folk jam band, hip hop DJ stuff mixed up together somehow. I mean, and that's a dumb generalization, honestly, but you can't speak to music in this age as a contemporary block by any means. But the shit they play on the college radio here is almost, to me, it's unlistenable. I listen to it all the time to see if maybe they play good music here and there, but it's just weird. It's like what contemporary adult music was in the 80s and 90s. That's like Kenny G and shit like that. Like, that's kind of the vibe that I get off college radio. And yeah, they're doing a little more experimental stuff, and they got like this kind of slow wave, no wave, vapor wave fucking shit going on, which is, you know, at least they're, you know, experimenting with like sounds and effects, you know. but it doesn't have the raw energy that the punk movement had, or even early rock and roll at all. And it doesn't have the soul that came, the gospel part of rock and roll, the soul. Now it's just like, oh, that sounds good, I like that, I can dance to it, that's cool. And that was largely the way people regarded mainstream music in the 80s, but by the 90s, when the underground became mainstream, when it broke through finally, around like 91, it opened up, the possibility that people didn't have to listen to just the shit on the radio. For the first time, people realized there was a wealth of good music happening off the radio. And now it's just, I guess it's all Spotify. So, and Discover Weekly, they do that. That's great. And you can find your shit from there. But you used to have to know, like, people that were into, like, cool music, You had to, like, know them personally, or be part of a scene, or go to shows, or there was a physical, it was a tactile experience. And now it's just like kind of navel gazing, random exploration, and everything's at your fingertips. So, you don't have, street cred as far as like knowing cool bands and stuff is out the window as soon as the internet came around. That used to be a big thing. I guess it's not so much now. I guess money's more important to the young people these days, but I'm not a spokesman for them or for my generation for that matter.
All right. Thank you, Keith Moore.
Yeah.